overnight. Yesterday was the first relief bounce since Monday, and then that ended up getting sold into kind of a weak close and then sold overnight. And we are below or were below the prior day low. So, from a technical perspective, you're always fairly bearish as long as you're below the prior day low, which is right there at 76.75 or so. That'll be the main pivot for the session, especially early. There's gamma positioning there, and just from a technical perspective, if you sell below the prior day low, then you stay bearish below and you can see a higher down prior day low. That 76.75 would be the main thing to watch early, whether or not we'll try to back test 7,700 or higher. And what I'll also say, as far as gamma positioning, is that 76.45, the primary support on the session. And if we get down there, I like that area for a bounce. And then the other thing I'll say is that there's mostly an air pocket below 76.45. If that were to fail today, as the position right now, there's nothing there for about 40, 50 points. So, six. So just watch 640 area for us. If we can above 76, we see a little bit of a reversal. Along 77, then the body lower towards 640, and we can watch the positioning develops. But 7,700 back test short might be a good opportunity to be short. It's a little bit harder to be short now. Most of the moves already happened, but I like 77 potentially for short, 76.40 longs, and then that pivot 76.75 is in the.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Hey, you mind dropping off and coming back on? See if yeah, I
Yeah.
could hear what you were saying, but the audio is pretty choppy.
Yeah, thanks for your patience, everybody. I mean, we're trying our best here, so sorry about those lost 4 minutes. But I think there's a lot of good info, and if you want to get the details, you can always go to commentary and check out the top part of it, where it walks you through what he just said as well. So it's not a waste of time for everybody. All right, Mate. Oh,
Yep. Good morning. So top focus today for me is mRNA and MSTR. Obviously, mRNA top off yesterday, huge move, and so we're gapping down a little bit into yesterday's range. And what I'm looking for on day two is a couple things. If we can hold this 147.50, which is the pre-market low, also a pivot from yesterday before the run up into the close, we can see some long setup. A couple different ones that we could see is either just a hold or sweep of that 147.50 and turn. If you get that, a lot of times on day two, the gap into the day one candle, we'll see a traversal through the range to the prior day high. So I'll be watching that. If at the open. Be a little bit more cautious, but I'd watch that 176 prior day high as a pivot for continuation toward 200. The 200 will be the magnet on the session for the longs. On the downside, if we fail this 147.50, because of the risk of a sweep, I would rather wait to see if it back tests that and fails for any kind of downside trade, targeting move back down to 130. So a couple different ways to get involved with this one that I'm watching. If none of those set up, then we'll just sit and kind of wait for an intraday play, maybe later in the session. MSTR, so crypto is in play. So Circle, MSTR, coin, Bitcoin's moving. So we've not seen really anything in this space for quite a while. It's been largely a bunch of dead charts. We're getting a nice bid now. So I'm always a little hesitant with weak names, becoming strong again, at least initially. So you want to see it kind of prove itself on dips before having too much conviction. That being said, this 100 reclaim break out of this range that it was stuck in was a decent development. 114 is very big resistance on the higher time frame, so it's attempting to reclaim this June low before we broke down. If it can manage to do that, I like longs. If I can get to the pre-market structure here, it's being a little slow. All right, so you can see we're just kind of hugging that 114, respecting that so far in the pre-market. It does have trending structure, which sets up the opening drive, ideally above 112. So if we hold 112, I would look for a push higher through that 114, use that as a stop, as a trail stop. Target would be 119, 120 initially, and then we'll see. So just variables here technically on the lower time frame, everything checks out for an opening drive. Just a higher time frame has a little bit of caution for me because of how big 114 is, but then also it's been very weak. So this is really the first attempt, bigger push higher. So uh, a little bit of caution. I'd probably grade this more around a B category, whereas mRNA is still in that A category for now. That'll take my focus at least the first 30 minutes for now.
All right, thank you, Matei. Apple 320, 319, 320 is what I'm watching for continuation into this gap and a fill. Obviously, we need the market to help us, but it's been a good disconnection, Apple, in the market to a certain extent. And I would love for this one to push higher above yesterday's highs. If we fall back below 316, potential move back to down to 311, 310. Netflix also been relatively strong out of the Max 7 names, been pushing higher. Still have position on those 80 calls for September. So I will hold those. We'll hold them a little longer, see if we can get a bigger move, but need that potential continuation above yesterday's highs around the 81. It's a previous bounce area. It's a higher time frame area of interest for me. Above 81, potential move to 83 and a half or so, and then we'll see. Rejection of 81, we can see a pullback down towards 78.50 or so. Hood, same kind of crypto strength theme. If we do get a day two of strength in crypto, if they can hold the gains from overnight, I think Hood could be one to watch as we're breaking back above the 200 and the 50-day moving average, right below 100. So we're right at 100 right now. Those moving averages are 96 for the 200 and 99.65 for the 50. So I would prefer not to move below any of those or yesterday's highs for a quick kind of push towards 103 or so. Uh, and Hood, in terms of the PM hours here, we did pull back a bit to cool off, and I think if you could check back quickly of that 99.60 or so area, could be a nice little dip and rip of sorts for a push back up to 102, 103. So Hood is in play. Uh, Yesterday was a big day for healthcare. I've been talking about this Oscar, OSCR, higher time frame play. It's very similar to Eli Lilly kind of setup here. It's been kind of trading for a while inside of this structure on the daily. And I think if we could break yesterday's highs, we can get that day two continuation towards at least all-time highs plus. So that is what I'm looking for here. And Oscar, a lot of the just as a tangent here before we get to some other ones, like Eli Lilly, you want to see that name break above yesterday's highs and continue to move higher. The risk with that one is that we can obviously pull back and hold that previous 1250, 1240 area and get an insight day that we could watch over the next few days. Eli Lilly is one of them. ABBV. So AbbVie obviously had a phenomenal day yesterday because of mRNA as well. And that one has yet to break out. So that's one that is on my radar as well, above yesterday's highs, 266. So watching these healthcare names, bio names, for some sort of continuation, especially if you see some sort of rotation in the market. Um, Back to the list here. Reddit, downside candidate, break of yesterday's lows. This one is one-time framing to the downside pretty clearly here. So 50, 137, 150 break. I think this one could see a bigger move towards 140 or so. Lastly, here, JPM, there's a little bit of weakness in some of the financials. JPM, first real downside candle yesterday, breaking the 9 day, breaking the uptrend that we've had over the last few days. So I would watch for continuation on this one. I don't think, I do think a push up first is worth a watch. So this one is slightly red here. So how I would watch this is I would watch for that attempt to go green and then fail to do so for a short. So a little bit of a front run of that 355.60 yesterday's highs, um, and maybe take some very close into the money puts or so, uh, potential even swing into tomorrow. That's all I got. Sarang next. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I think couple of name, I think mRNA also on my watch. I think Mate covered very well. So apart from Moderna, so I'm watching Walmart. Walmart actually reported earning. The earning numbers is looking good, but the stock is capping down 8%. And if you look at the daily time frame, this 104 to 105 area is very key. It was the previous all-time high. I'm watching two trade here. So either we see a failed breakdown around this 105 area, or if we move the straight, or maybe a front side rejection of 107, 108 area, targeting 105 and potentially 100 on the Walmart. So I think the Walmart generally don't move this much, 8% on the earning. This time earning looks different, looks like. So, but this 104, 105 area is very key on a daily. So that's why I'm interested on this stock. Uh, Next one I'm watching is Circle. Circle, we had a nice trade yesterday. Uh, on a daily time frame, this 75 area I was watching from quite a long time, and I'll be watching the continuation move uh, on the Circle above pre-market high. So I think pre-market structure is also looking good for opening drive. So what I'm watching is so below it 81 failed breakdown, or if we reclaim this 83, 84 area, we'll be looking to take a opening drive as a roll-up trade from yesterday, targeting 85 to 87 on Circle. Downside, I will watch QQQ. I think there is a weakness in mostly the semiconductor name, so I'll be watching QQQ for downside. So maybe below 709, I'm looking to play the puts on QQQ 705 or 706 put on QQQ. Yeah, that's all I'm watching.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so in Walmart earnings, I missed Target yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, Sarang, Mate, and JM. Really nice offside play there on the daily. So nice close. We are gapping down. So I think potential watch for us today. I totally missed this one in the pre-market. For some reason, I thought we had earnings later in the week, but it is later in the week. It's been one of those weeks, I guess. So for this one, I would watch for a potential move back up to yesterday's closing price above 156.50, previous all-time high, for a quicker move into that 159 where we closed, and then even potential continuation play through yesterday's highs. So um, this one looks good. It is pulling back here pre-market. It might be an open drive to watch. I don't know how the volume is, but okay. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Also, TJX. Just going through some retail names here, which I think is a good idea. TJX, real nice offside attempt, failed, and they closed it at the bottom third. We are right near yesterday's lows, so be interesting. I have an alert at yesterday's lows, something to watch as well. So, all right. One other name that kind of, as an aside, Uber, UBER. Yesterday, big move to the upside, closed above the 200-day. First time it does that in a bit. Uh, so, I mean, obviously this one is in a range, but I feel like that failed breakdown on the daily on July 24 could potentially have given us enough to push out of this range here soon. So obviously that 80 is technically very important, 80, 81. Uh, but yesterday was really impressive. So that's that. A couple of other names, SNDK. Uh, Not loving the way it looks. It's a bit harder for me to short, but not a nice close yesterday. Below the 50-day here. This would be a continuation move, maybe down to 1470 or so, below yesterday's lows. And then MU, kind of in a range here. I think SNDK is a little bit of a better short than MU. Okay. Um, yeah, that's all I got. All right, some names here. Hinge. This one looked good for a while. It's still looking good, actually. The daily still looks fine. Looks like a potential, just a higher time frame range bound price action here for that next leg higher. Held the moving averages really nicely, and now potential kind of within this range. It's a little bit of a cup and handle to watch on the daily. We have less than 6 minutes to go here. Microsoft, I don't see anything. Microsoft.
Here, let me talk about SPX real quick since it was messed up earlier.
Okay, but
The main thing about SPX, 76.75 is the pivot. That's right where we're trading. That's basically yesterday's low. So early in the session, you've got to reclaim 75 for any kind of upside towards 7,700. It's a little hard to be short after the move overnight. I think 7,700 is the better area to try a short. I'll watch something. I'll see what develops after the open. 76.45 is the best support, and that's where I would favor longs if we can get continuation. But early in the session, it's just about whether or not we can clear and hold 76.75 for any kind of relief. Otherwise, we might fade towards 76.45.
fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, 45, big note on the gamma landscape here for sure. Let's see what happens here. I think my attitude going into today would be, as you all know, yesterday, just kind of rewind a little bit out. I had a hard time going long, and you know me, I'm always looking for that kind of long failed breakdown stuff. And yesterday, that 7,700 long was the best, and it gave you nice 45 or so points. And uh, try to catch that short, and it did come kind of the last half an hour or so. Beautiful spike base that we called out, 7720 area. So going into today, I'm just going to follow what JM just said. I think what he just said lines up very nicely with what I'm saying. It just feels like the market has rejected the 9-day moving average. It flipped it 2 days ago. Yesterday, it tested it, and just like the 910, when you get that, it's hard because that's just sellers stepping in, saying no, basically. So unless this is a catalyst that pushes us higher, for now it feels a little trickier. For today, I would watch for that bigger kind of candle lower out of this range that we've been in. We're kind of around that right now still. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to be a little patient today. I'm going to be a little more patient than normal. If I see something, I'll jump on it, but more likely a smaller position day kind of thing today. Uh, yeah, Ivy Trader is also calling out that he will be patient as well today in the chat. I am interested in mRNA. I do like that 145, kind of 140, whatever that is, PM low here, 148. It's just also day two, you have to be a little cautious. because sellers could step in here if we don't get some sort of resolution to the upside quickly. SMH is very weak near yesterday's lows. IGV holding okay. Near or under yesterday's lows, right at that 200. We're still waiting for earnings for some of these names. So, all right, 2 more minutes to go here. I just heard an alert go off. mRNA, PM lows.
$147.50 getting a reaction here on mRNA. I want to see this either sweep or just hold and break higher fast for longs.
Are you looking for a new position? Sorry,
Yeah.
I missed that bit. Okay. I'll kind of I'll tag along if you take a position, and I won't alert it, but I'll call it out that I did enter just for everybody to. There's no reason for a double alert.
Right.
We are opening up.
It held that. If you want
76.80.
to be aggressive, you could trade against that 147.50, but it could stop super fast. I'm
Okay.
gonna give this a minute. The premium settle, but
Yeah, it's a little rich right now. I feel
yeah.
bull new highs, guys. PM high break. Let's see if it's real or fake. Would you look at 165s or would you go like 180s?
Working at 180s right now.
Okay. Target turning here. Apple 320, guys.
MSTR first move down.
Guys, I'm watching Target 160s here. Kind of a day two. So it just got filled. 160 calls target. Pretty wide spreads. Not the best. Smaller trade, guys, as I said. AMD pushing higher fast. Fill on this target play.
In the 170s now instead of 180s.
Hmm.
It's 147.50. Just short entry that rejects, long entry that holds. A little bit more bias to the upside for now.
Brave, nice turn, guys. Core Wave 200 day at 92. Coin, watch for the sweep, 167. Gamma 7700 for short, Jay.
Say that again.
How's Gamma for short 7700 test?
Yeah, yeah. There's a node there. It's not the setup that I would normally like as much for a short, but there is some positioning there. The main thing will be, whether or not we can hold this 85 node on a back test, right? So we opened above 75, we held that. Now there's a node at 85. So I don't know. I don't like 7700 short as much on this particular gamma setup.
Okay. It's not a whole lot. It's pretty
Also
light
just
above 7700. So
yeah, yeah, and yeah, we'll see. We just we recovered the prior day low, so we have a failed breakdown that's moving higher.
right.
Rejections at 147.50 there on mRNA. This would be your short entry. Also adds conviction to the long if it reclaims it now after like 2 or 3 rejections. The 130 puts are at about 3. So watching the upside first. You see a low day crack. To downside.
We've really strong. Target kind of rejecting 60 here. Check out Corey if 95s. 200 days, we're just breaking above it here, so it might see some momentum into yesterday's highs as well. CoreWeave, so
Nice.
something to watch. 95s are like 140, pretty nice. Not too spready.
mRNA puts in a higher low here. Look at aggressive turn long, risking that low just because of the risk reward. Takes out the lows, targets 136 then 130. I'm probably not going to flip the puts. Take that in this trade, but it is valid if you like it.
Hmm. I'm all out of target. Just cutting it. Those premiums moved nicely, but I failed to exit, so and it reversed back red, so I'm out. Marvel strong pop. CoreWeave is looking okay here. If we can break above 93, could push to 95. Oh, big pop there. Damn. I was just calling out the 95. Coin making a nice slow turn here. Held at 167. MU looking strong today. SNDK as well. Nvidia holding up nicely. Coin. I kind of like coin here actually.
It's pretty good. All right, guys, I'm trying this on mRNA. It's really tight stop at the lows. That was a nice turn on coin there.
Yeah, it broke 170 very quickly at the turn. That was a nice kind of dip and rip.
mRNA failing that turn, so I'll get stopped here if we break low day. They would need to save it here.
Mhm. Coin could break 172 here. It could be a nice little momentum play, but here right now. Market is really not doing much here. BX turning lower here. Feels a little choppy, but rejecting the 700 above. Nvidia sharp turn lower. QQQ below the 50-day moving average. This might be the day to sell this.
It's X selling below 135 here. Watch mRNA here. 147 is a big spot. The longer we sit above low of day, higher the odds become for us. We need a bigger push through 147.50. Premiums have been holding really nicely. Normally, if it's going to fail low day, you'll see those premiums just kind of give away. They didn't, they held. So far, a good sign. I still view it as a little bit lower odds below 147, but it's a risk reward play. So you're paying for those less odds by getting a better price. If we can push here, we'll be glad we did. So let's see. I believe 165 is -1 ATR. I want to say, yeah, 162.88 is -1. 185 is +1. So we're sitting below -1 ATR on the most in play name in the market. So a push into that could be expected here. So let's see. $47.50.
Watching SPX here for potential puts, 80 puts. $85 keeps holding, but let's see what it does here soon. Trying to recover 2 days ago, low day. So I just shorted there, 7680. Test of 2 days ago, low day. All right, so I just filled short here, 7680. I'm looking to holding this for a little bit because if it did break down today, I think we could see 45.50. Just need to break down out of the zone. Nice failed recovery of upside. It's currently still in a range, but taking a shot at this.
Uh, 95 resistance just popped up. I like that also. If we pop up to 95, I think a short there can work also. Your first target's going to be 75 for sure. Potential bounce spot there.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get to 95, I might add one more time. I'm currently in a small size. I'll add into like a B grade. We're getting an okay move here so far, so Well, that alert, I put the wrong price actually. I got it a little cheaper than that, but it doesn't matter. I'm calling it out. And that's rejection of that low. And I just got filled there. 25%. 25% off. Also right at the orb low area. So we need to break the orb low for real. Next, I'll target 15, 15, between 15 and 16, depending on. I have a limit at 16 here, but I'll move it down. Okay, nice push. Orb low test and break. Good bounce here around that 75, like James said. Also orb low, so we need to break this. I would love a 75 test for take some off, and then back test of orb low could be a secondary entry for puts. Unless above, then you want to be hands off. Maybe it's a little slower. Nvidia near lows.
And watch mRNA here. This could be a liquidity grab, so I'm gonna give it a second.
mRNA made a turn yesterday, midday, around this 135, 136 zone. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah. That being a pretty nice short on mRNA, I just didn't like the
Hmm.
idea as much. Those puts didn't even really move that much. They moved from about 3 to 5.
Hmm.
Not bad, but
So yesterday's PM high on mRNA is right around this 135, 134.50. And then yesterday
mhm.
intraday, they back tested it close to it at least, and then it turned into those highs. So like I would say this zone is another like good zone for a long, or if that breaks, I would be hands off.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason I want to give it a second is because of the speed.
Hmm. The extended low is nice, quick turn lower. Interesting turn higher here on SMH, still green.
Yeah, there's a 7700 and 7705 has increased a ton. So it's the new magnet on the day, especially if 75 holds.
Positioning below like 45, 70, below 75. How's it looking? Is it kind of stagnant or is it changing?
It's mostly the same. The two biggest nodes are 75 and the largest node is 7700.
Thank you. Yeah, so far the attempts to push higher have failed. We're seeing consecutive lower highs on the 10. I think we need to flush these lows for a faster move now. Premium is holding. I mean, it's holding up really nicely here, so I want to be a little more patient. Only thing is that I'm seeing here is that some of these semis are fairly strong, actually holding up. SMH pushing higher. Uh, so that could prop up this thing, but Q is trying to recover the 50-day here at 713. IWM right at the 20-day at 298. So, there's a little bit of support here. It's a big area. Oh, damn, that's a nice strong move. MU. Nice, BB. That's calling it out. Back to high day here. SNDK right behind it.
That's a nice 930 check back on MU.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Very nice, actually. Marvel. Also, yeah. So we're seeing some of these like semis, whatever memory names, fairly perky, but S okay. Now MonkeyBot is firing short here. Not firing, it's pending short. Yellow candle lower. 80. They're trying to break the lows here. Come on, make a new low. There you go, new low a day. Still yellow candle, 677. Bum. Nice push lower. Really nice short air MonkeyBot indicator at least. See if I can get an exit. I did not get an exit on that. Push. All right, I just did get an exit on that push. So exiting. Yep, all good. We just moved to 16. I moved it down to 1550 because of the choppiness. Told you 16 was my target, and so now we want to see what they do with that. So next short here, if you believe in this being a downside day or whatever, you would want to see that back test of 76, 79, 80 zone getting shorted, and that could be a nice little short opportunity. Back above 80, you got to be cautious because then it's a failed attempt to break below and recovery of that orb low, and potentially we can move back to 700. Pretty strong move here. Very nice move. CSPX. I mean, natural target would be 1630 today. But it's the low of that gap up day a few days ago or a few weeks ago. It would also be the 20-day moving average right around that 7630, 33 area. It'd be a big move lower, but it could happen if you get some sort of trend day. Yeah, just saw John checking VIX, and VIX is nicely green here, 7%, testing 16 here. So mRNA, I know Mate is keep an eye on that, but that 136 was really a nice check back for a long risk reward. Nice back above 140 here. If you could start pushing higher, that'd be best for longs. Down 20% today. Yeah, I think J-Mon is going long here on the gamma setup here, which is fine. I like it. Because like if you're futures trader, you take this bounce, S&P would target that 80. So that's like 5 points. That's great. If it fails, you exit. So new low a day. Monkey bot indicator caught about 7 points lower there. Fairly clean move as well. Right, that's your pop, right? So very nice. Watch 80, 79.80. That's his trim right there. Long there by Mr. Scalper J. Second 10-minute candle to the upside here. mRNA starting to catch some speed here. I would watch 146.50 and 148. Above that, I think you could squeeze. MU holding up. Say market is on hard mode today, so just please take that into account as you're trading. Nice rejection around that or below 80 zone, as I said. So if this rejects and we're unable to move above, this is what I would consider a potential downside day. Right? If you're inside of the first half an hour range, it could be a choppy day. So they're fighting it out here. Let's see who wins. I like seeing MU so strong. VIX coming off the highs. MU new high day. For y'all that follow along, 9 on 10 on SPX is 76.92. My SPX puts here are back towards where I entered. Nice long by J Money, ES. He's done for the day. It's a recover of orb low.
It's for sure done
Alright, 9
today
on 10
because
here.
it looks gross out there. Could be pretty choppy. It's very crowded today.
MU 50-day test here, 963. RNA, nice turn here at trading 144 from 137 or so.
Yeah, so from here, you don't want to see it just get slapped back under 140. This is a nice recovery. I'll have more conviction if we get back above 147.50, but it's a good start. Now I expect because of that sweep, I would expect more of a trend move today if it does work to the upside.
Rejection NVIDIA here of 218 from a put perspective. MU rejected the 50-day as well. And you're seeing a little bit of a pullback here, obviously. So I need this one back down below 80 for the next 10-minute candle to maybe push through those lows and go. Alternatively, we might just kind of sit here for a bit and then push. But these premiums recovered really nicely. They're trading around 950 or so a bit ago. It's a nice secondary entry. I was watching the 9 on 10 at 92, 93 for calling that out, but they might have just front ran it. Let's see. MU backtesting PM highs and previous high of day after that 50-day rejection. RNA 145 test. Netflix reached 81 yesterday's highs and failed. So we'll see what they do now. They might kind of consolidate it for a few days. Best to hold above 78, 79. PM, sorry, or below here, test. Back below 80.
Yeah, it's extremely crowded, which means it's going to be hard to find a steady trend any direction, right? So we've got 75, we've got 90 above us. If 75 fails, we can see a bounce at 60. So we can see it may fade lower, but it's going to be choppy and it's going to keep bouncing,
Yeah.
which can be rough on premium. So definitely don't overtrade inside of here. You want to see a bigger gap between the nodes in order to get a little bit cleaner movement.
Right. We are not in negative gamma, right?
Positive.
Okay. I'm taking a small break. I'll be back later.
Hey guys, just watching MRNA here. We defended the lows again. Definitely trying to grind the premiums down. We keep defending lows though, so still holding for a minute. See how this develops. If it is going to work, it'll likely be a slower, grindy trend trade back to the highs today. If it fails, 136, I would just stay hands off. Maybe a decent short. Not seeing much else. SpaceX was a nice short under 135. MU holding up pretty good. Nice long from Jam on S&P. Coin, decent look there. MSTR, no surprise, died. Everything else is pretty darn slow. Looks good. Nice move there.
All right, everybody. Rejecting that 90 area here. So I'll be curious to see if they can push this lower. We're back near that 9 days. We flipped it and then rejected it. right, so basically trading in a range so far today. We are unable to fill the gap above. We attempted to push below 80 and failing. So right now it's just chop. Nice little move in MU into that 50-day rejecting, SNDK rejecting. Circle setting up here, broke intraday trend. mRNA 145, and then they sold into it. So that one's a little harder now, unless it breaks the trend line on the daily. Sorry, the intraday trend line.
You see gold today, Space Monkey.
I looked at it earlier, but looks like it's back up the high of
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah, I like that for a swing. Um, I do have some December long calls on that one, but yeah, it's trying to go green here. He's still in mRNA.
Yep, still holding on.
Okay. Yeah, gold, really nice push. Yeah, gold, nice push here. Breaking back above the 200-day moving average near yesterday's highs. I think this one could see 422 soon. Push higher. Looking at GLD. It is back to 96 here. Failed to break above. Actually, kind of made that move. Actually, broke above 100 into that 102, and then rejected. So 102, 103 is a huge kind of supply zone near the 200-day at 96. So see if you can make a turn there. Circle a lot cleaner push here. The intraday break. Coin also attempting to turn, flipping the 9 on 10, 170. Coin intraday setup here, guys. 172.50s would be what I would look for on coin here. If we see a turn, this could be a really nice turn. Through 171, 172.50s. Those premiums come down nicely too from earlier. So circle kind of vertical here. So let's see if coin follows along. Needs to break this 170, 172. Circle, really bullish move here, guys. SPX pushing higher as well. Not sure what's going on. I'm watching 7,700. I'll stop out. Bitcoin is moving to the upside here, guys. It seems. Oh, Bassett live interview on CNBC. Thank you guys for calling that out. Anybody caught coin on that pop, guys? Really nice long. 172.50 is now in the money. That one is pushing into higher day. CX moving. Coin high a day for 175 p.m. high here. If you took coin, I'm watching the premium. I'm not in it, but those premiums moved really nicely into the money here. Up about 40% almost. SPX rejection of 1,700. We still have a lot of gamma around 05 here. Circle straight up. Coin straight up as well. Nice intraday setups on those two. SPX pretty strong here, so I'm gonna preserve some premium by cutting the rest. If we get back, if we get towards 705, I want to watch and see what happens there. Besta said he and the budget director will review it. Besta states that U.S. yields do not show true fundamentals. Besta comments on share buybacks, stating it's a low volume market. He's not impressed by the 40 million, sorry, 40 trillion debt number. Yeah, sharp rejection of 7,700. Sharp rejection there on SPX. We call that 7,700, 7,705 as gamma area. That was an excellent short there. And conversely, that 98 area is the orb high of today. So we're rejected the push below orb low. We traversed the entire range to the upside and we failed. So currently we're in a range bound session. Gold that was a big pop. Gold actually 416. Tested PM high very quickly. So obviously the market is moving here with Bassett. I like coin a lot, but I like them more when I called it out. This feels a little bit like a chase as we're getting to PM high. Circle has a lot more in it. I think 85.40, 86 is possible in this one. Maybe watch for that first dip after this. Back to maybe 83.40, 83.50. Fantastic move. For anybody who's interested, I am holding December 520 calls on GLD. They're up 20% today. They were negative earlier today, so a lot of premium coming into these. All right, SPX back below 9 on 10 here. I mean, it's a pretty nice setup for short, the 7,700. Now we're pushing lower here. So the market is calling kind of BS on this, whatever he's saying. Sharp move lower. Those 7680s just doubled in a matter of a few minutes here. SPX SPX flipping the 9 on 10 here attempt. Hey Jay, can you give us an update on the gamma, your perspective, please? seeing things shift a bit here?
Yeah, no real change. It's still the same. We knew there was going to be a reaction at 7,700. So basically, it's 7,700 and 76.75. It's just a matter of which side breaks. So we're still stuck in between those. You need 75 to break for that larger move to the downside.
Thank you. All right, 80 is back nice and green. Nice hold there, guys. It's easy to panic when that happens, but I was watching that 700.05 very, very closely. Could have been a really nice ad even, but I wasn't ready for that. Guys, watch GLD here, pushing PM highs. As your back test of 910 SPX to break in lower, it's back testing it. Gold pop.